Okay, I didn't hear the off tone, so maybe that whole story of the beautiful young girl may not even be on this video. What was next on my list? What have I been up to? I've been doing a lot of research into nuclear power. It's suddenly become very fascinating to me. I'm particularly intrigued by the idea of a thorium breeder reactor called a lifter. Really, if we had lifters, that we would get close to the too cheap to meter. It would still be metered because, you know, even as lifters are suitable for, not for the giant gigawatt nuclear power plants like 3 Mile Island or Southwest Texas Nuclear Project, but they'd be a lot less expensive, and they are a proven technology from the 50s and early 60s. And I'll talk more about that maybe later. Maybe I'll put a link to something about the lifter in the show notes in case somebody's interested. And I'm not trying to squid at all because I'm trying to talk, and there's so much gravel on this road. Still feeling okay with the heat. But anyway, that's one thing I'm interested in. Maybe I'll say more about that later. Stalking of SpaceX. I was real disappointed I didn't get invited back by NASA to cover the last commercial resupply mission, which was in the early in 2014, and you know, I guess in the spring or late winter, I don't remember. But SpaceX has been up to a lot. I flew my airplane up there and took some aerial pictures. Maybe I'll put a link to those in the show note of their McGregor test facility. They have a big test facility about an hour and 20-minute drive north of Austin and near to the town of McGregor, Texas. Saw some new things there. They had a mission that was delayed like 5 times. It wasn't, all 5 weren't. Boy, look at all the millionaires' houses up there. Wouldn't it be nice to live in a house like that? Bill, if you'll make a video, probably Hollywood will pick you up and you can buy one of those. Anyway, I went up there. They're building a big new structure for a new test stand for their upcoming Falcon Heavy giant rocket. I did see their Falcon 9R Dev 1 hovering rocket was on the pad. It's been there for almost a year now, and they do fly it from time to time. I've never seen it fly. But they did fly a mission for Orbcom. There's a little bit of connection because when I first got out of the Air Force, my brother, who works at a company called Sierra Nevada Corporation, got me a contract with them to do some simple grunt work they needed done. I'm starting to feel a little sick. Uh-oh. I haven't eaten much today. Hopefully I won't die during this video. Well, actually, that way I'd get a lot of subscribers if I did die. So if you are my descendants and I died during this video, go ahead and put it up on my channel. Because if nothing else, I can brag in heaven that I got a lot of subscribers at last. But anyway, anywho, the mission was delayed like 4 or 5 times, and people were starting to kind of mock them. It wasn't all the delays weren't their fault. There was weather and range equipment issues, and just it seemed like they were kind of snake bit. But last week they did get it off, or week before last they did launch it. Anyway, it was carrying satellites for a company called Orbcom, which is a communications company, and the satellites were made by my brother's company, Sierra Nevada Corporation. So I felt a little kinship there. I'd worked briefly for Sierra Nevada many years ago. So that mission was a resounding success, and the interesting thing, this is the second time they've hover landed the booster. That mission and the mission before, after the commercial satellite, you know, they're paying customer, you know, the first stage booster separates from the customer's, you know, second stage and the customer's payload and waves goodbye. And all other rockets in the history of humanity that have put operational satellites into orbit, the booster just burns up in the atmosphere, just falls to Earth. But SpaceX says we can't afford to do that. It's just too expensive to throw a multi-million-dollar booster away. So their boosters are going to have landing legs that deploy, and they hover land eventually on a flat surface. Oh, well, they do hover land on a flat surface. The ones in McGregor lands back on their pad there. This one, because the people of Florida and the FAA and NASA and the Air Force are not ready for this hovering rocket on its second try to land back on a runway. It did hover. This is the second one that's hover landed over the ocean. They have a video. The camera iced up, so you can't see real well, but you can tell this booster turns around, does some burns. It has some thrusters. It hover landed over the Atlantic. Of course, once it got to the surface, it just kind of flopped over. Elon Musk tweeted kaboom. Tweeted what did he say? It was splash kaboom or something like that. That's what he put in his tweet. That's what it did. Its tripod landing legs hit the water. It fell over on its side and blew up. But that's okay. And he's saying now that by the end of the year, he's going to land on either a floating platform of some kind or on the actual land of the Earth, surface of the Earth. And boosters are designed. Usually there's more motorcycles. I guess it's too hot. Booster is designed to be able to return to Earth. I mean, to be reused. It lands on the pad. You fill it up with gas, put another satellite on it, and launch it, 2 or 3 days later. That's what he wants to do. Or even the same day, he said once. Wouldn't that be amazing? So anyway, I did a flight up there, took a bunch of aerial pictures. I tried to make a video, and I did make a nice video, but unfortunately, I've been snake bit for sound since I did my first video in 2005. And so there was no sound in this. This is with my airplane, or my club's airplane to be precise. Okay, well, if I come to a place to stop, I'm going to stop the video. Otherwise, I'm just going to ride along. Do I have anybody behind me? No, it doesn't look like it. Definitely headed home. Don't want heat. I do so need a track day. This is a decreasing radius turn here. This is one of the places that gets people.